Hello. How's everyone doing the day after Christmas? It's now Kwanzaa season, suckers. This episode was a very interesting one. It was a motivating one. It was with strength and conditioning coach Joel Eschelman, a friend of mine, but we went deeper than that. We got into the human psyche and what makes us us and what affects our motivation. I've really been on that motivating kick. Blame it on Dwayne The Rock Johnson. His Instagram is a thing of beauty. Same thing with like a Joe Rogan Instagram and a Cameron Haynes and a Jocko Willink. And most importantly, many of my friends like Joel Eschelman. You follow these cats. They are trying to lead you to the promised land. That's their only goal, is to help. And Joel is also a member of a prominent mastermind group. Now, mastermind groups are the hot button topic nowadays because you're, in a nutshell, paying for influence. Russell Brunson's mastermind costs X amount of dollars to be a part of, but don't get it twisted. Okay? You have to pay $80 a year to be a member of the Junior Chamber of Commerce. I think it's like $150, $200 a month to be a part of your local area Chamber of Commerce. These are, in a nutshell, mastermind groups. You're politicking with people who have made it, people who are profitable businesses. So when you pay for influence, like I bring speakers in, I pay them. Why am I paying them? Because they are a draw that will put butts in seats. Same thing with bringing in musical acts. Yeah, you want to give your buddy an opportunity who's got an up-and-coming band, but you throw him on the docket of an up-and-comer. I always use this example. I went to my first ever Wiz Khalifa concert back when Black and Yellow was popping. Who do you have opening for him? Big Sean, before any of us knew who Big Sean was. Picture these cliques as mastermind groups, master networking groups. You are attending and getting involved with, playing golf with, for the influence. That's why you're doing it. We are in the age of the influencer. We are in the age of influence. Joe Schmo could be sitting on his couch and have more influence than someone who might be smarter than them. Look at a lot of these people on Instagram. In a nutshell, you see this model is always tagging this model in her lives and on her posts. They have their own mastermind group going on. The power of influence. They are checkering or leapfrogging each other, using one another, and tapping into each other's influence. And that's what mastermind groups are trying to accomplish, all the while putting money in each other's pocket. So many of these other groups, like B&I groups, they are meant for referrals. It's, in a nutshell, its own mastermind group. And you go to these things, and a lot of them are ran the same way. And it's all about guiding each other in this game of life and game of business. And it really does help. Mastermind groups really do help. And Joel has really opened my eyes to them. I'm a member of so many things. And I guess now that I take a step back when I'm reflecting, they have guided me in so many positive directions. I think of my stepdad, who has been a part of handshake groups his entire life. He's owned businesses since his early 20s. It's just what he does. And this dude is a master politicker. He isn't one of those sleazy bullshitters that you come across. We've all came across those, and most of them are in the network marketing realm. But these old heads, and typically they're old white males, who every week they're throwing on a different blue blazer, navy blue blazer, and they're going to these groups and they are shaking hands, having breakfast, having coffee, Friday morning meetups. They're just continuously doing it. You have to treat it like a job. Your networking game needs to be treated like a job, tenfold, especially in the 21st century with a networking tool such as our smartphone being in our pocket. A computer in this thing that could put somebody on the moon in the 60s. That powerful. That's how far your network should go. All the while, let's be honest, when we're saying our Merry Christmases, we can only think of 150 names max to send those out to personally. But it is what it is, man. Joel Eschelman, he's the homie. This dude is involved, and he's a very positive human being who's been through the ringer. Listen to his psychedelic story at the end of this episode, and you'll hear a dude who's been through the ringer. He's been through the gamut, and he's come out like a diamond because of all the pressure he's put on his own shoulders in life. Man, when you link up with this guy for coffee or lunch or anything, he's always on a mission. And he's on a positive mission. And those are the kind of people I like to surround myself with. People who are always striving towards something, not stagnant human beings who are lost. And those are the ones we help. We help those people who are just unsure. And we're approaching 2019. And if you're still unsure, reach out to us. We can drive some purpose into your heart. I really think we can with our network and what we're doing. So with that being said, I'm going to get into the ads now. I just got really pumped up by this episode that I did with Joel. It was a really good conversation, and we weren't sure where it was going to go. No real plan intended, but we ran with it and got some gold. I'd like to just thank everyone and all my partners, my sponsors who have played a role in the 2018 version of Stationary Astronaut, because we're not stopping, man. We've got a lot going on, a lot of kettles in the fire. We can't be stopped. Very motivated right now. Very motivated. Extreme motivation right now. Extreme focus. The 2018 version of Stationary Astronauts can definitely be fine-tuned, refined. You can't retain us, though. Good luck. Good luck. You can attain us, but good luck retaining us, bro. So with that being said, I'd like to thank our friends at Cameo at the Castle. This is a spot where we're going to be doing a lot of exciting stuff. There's so many arenas to play in down at the Castle. It's an old armory building that has been completely reshaped and redesigned by Beneke Builders and Ross Henderson, Scott Haas, and Nora Anderson, the owners of the Castle. Lots of parking. We need that, of course, if you're going to have any event space. And then our friends downstairs, the first floor at the Castle, Cameo Restaurant. Zach Oley and his team, Kiefer Manning, his GM, his beautiful wife, their daughter Charlotte, they're always there. It's family operated. It's on point with what you expect in the 21st century when it comes to fine dining mixed with being able to drop the F word. You know what I'm saying? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Karen, well, you're still complaining. The Black Friday sales are over, Karen. Stop complaining. Get over it. Everything is perfect. Even if things aren't perfect, take it as they are perfect, because it's the universe handing you the cards that need to be dealt so you can get over whatever humps are holding you back. Oftentimes they are just that. They're just a camel hump in life. They're not a roadblock. You can still see light glimmering on the other side of that hill. Just climb it. Get through it and get over it. We all have to get to that point in life where enough is enough. The stinking thinking does not override my happiness. Get to that point. And if it's just some dude talking through your speaker system, telling you that life goes on, it always gets better, because when it's getting worse and it stays worse, you're dead. If you're still breathing, upright, able to maneuver, you're winning in the game of life. There are less fortunate people out there. No one is more special than anyone, no matter what mommy and daddy told you growing up. You're the best. Oh my gosh, look at you. No one can get in your way. Were they boosting you up or holding you back? I love tough love. I love it when teammates of mine tell me when and where I'm fucking up. I accept all challenges. It is the only way to advance spiritually, is to face pressure. Face it head on. You come out refined and tuned up. Your gears have been ground to the point you had to replace the entire system. Your infrastructure that you knew, thought you knew, your ID. You can shape it. You are malleable. Take that into 2019, how malleable you really are. How you can really, really make change. We grew up hearing this term, be the change you wish to see. It comes from building new pathways in your brain. Getting on a new sort of clock. One that isn't enslaved to stinking thinking. You can do it. You can do it. I have so much faith in you. If you rock with us, I have so much faith in you. And if you don't rock with us, get your shit together all 2019. At this time, I'd like to thank Soltara Retreat Center. Soltara Retreat Center is an ayahuasca retreat center based in Costa Rica. It helped change my life. Dan Cleland and the team there, Melissa, Kendra, Natalie, Sean, Sylvia, John, Carolina, Scott, Tyler. I love you all so much. Jesse. You all are some special little aliens. Having the opportunity to drink ayahuasca with the plant doctor Dennis McKenna, La Chorreva's finest, Dennis McKenna, and being mat neighbors with him in ceremony, and then to come out of the most potent and life-changing and gripping psychedelic experiences using the most powerful plant medicine on the face of the earth, right next to Dennis McKenna, and to come out and to fist bump and laugh after we come out of this life-changing experience that doesn't even do it justice, and then to go up to the mess hall and the star deck and look up while eating some of the juiciest watermelon you'll ever have. Stars are so prominent you can't even find the Big Dipper. And Dennis, him and his undercover comedic ass, is just telling some of the funniest jokes and stories. And then the following week, to kick off the week, Mr. Olympia says, throw on your hiking shoes, we're going for a walk. And to be able to experience that only 7 hours away from home with Mr. Olympia and his beautiful wife and Dennis McKenna and the entire team, it's magical, and we all owe it to ourselves to really dive deep, and reshape who we think we are. Because until we're all linked arm in arm across this planet, saving it, we've got it all fucked up. We don't have a clue. Until everybody understands our tribe is team people. Our tribe isn't red, blue, purple, yellow, onions, no onions, Pineapple on pizza, no pineapple on pizza, iPhone, green bubbles, Samsung. Until we realize that we're all in this game together, linked arm in arm, we've got work to do. No matter what. Until we realize that. So many people are caught up on the micro version of our existence instead of the macro. Will we ever find the macro? No. Because like I was saying prior, we can't even remember more than 150 names. I can't have more than 150 revolving people in my life at a time. I can barely manage 25, let alone our team of meeting of the minds, which is 50 plus. Barely. That's where management comes into play. In all honesty, before I let you go, until we get a council that is just team people, it isn't part of a cabinet, it isn't Democrat, Republican. It is just a council for team people, not the European Union. I'm talking not the Council on Foreign Affairs, Team People Council. Until we can do that, because right now we worship borders. We're on the verge of a U.S.-funded border wall. You know where that comes from? That comes from lack of knowing self, because when you truly know self, you understand why we're in this thing. We're in it to help out our neighbor. We're not in it to separate one another. So with that being said, I love you all so much. Enjoy this episode. I kind of went on a tangent because Joel Eschelman is adopted. He is from the Middle East, and he's got a voice. He is a force of change and growth. And check him out, Apex Training. He is the godfather of squats. Joel Eschelman, I love him so much. Peace out. Enjoy the show.
I'm gonna be high as a fucking man.
And now, the stationary astronaut.
Joel, baby, coming in hot. Apex Training, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
You weaseled me into this one, big boy.
I did.
You got me up into the Golden Valley to chit-chat a little bit.
I love it. Thanks for coming all the way up here.
Of course, man. Anytime I get to see you, it's like no matter what, it's just the vibes are high.
Yeah, I got a pretty face.
How are you so chill?
You know, that's a really great question. Sometimes I am, like right now, when I'm around great people.
Yeah.
But other times, sometimes it's madness out there, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes the things come at you, and things might make you want to go crazy, right? But I've learned over the years that even though crazy things can happen to you, it's how you respond to them is everything.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Sometimes crazy shit happens.
Yeah.
And I respond a little crazy.
Really?
But can't always fix it.
You've never come off as a high-strung guy to me, ever. Let's put that gum right there on that piece of paper. We don't want
called out.
Yeah, we don't want to piss off the listeners.
Yeah, sorry about that, listeners.
So
I chew a lot of gum. That's how I stay chill.
What gets you high strung? Is there anything in particular?
Things that are stressful that are out of my control. You know, just those types of situations that I can't necessarily fix or have my hands in.
Yeah.
And part of it is a control thing. I think just being who I am and an entrepreneur, businessman, you know, I'm master and commander of my own ship.
Yeah.
And when it's those things that are happening personally or even professionally, that there's just nothing that I can do to, except for react. I can't be proactive about it. That leaves me feeling a little high strung. Yeah. A little high strung.
And that's got to be tough when you're in control of so many other people's ships too, because you run a lot of classes. You're leading multiple brigades on a weekly basis. So do you think that definitely helps you to be leveled out and mellow?
Yeah. I think dealing with multiple people's emotions, multiple people's moods, when you do what I do, you have to, it's very easy to take on the energy of other people.
Yeah.
And I've had to learn to kind of hold that at bay, which is actually easier in larger groups because you don't have to personally get into certain things.
Okay.
It leaves a when you're one-on-one with somebody, it's hard to walk away if a conversation's going somewhere. But when you're in a group setting, it's easy to go, oh, hey, Mrs. Jones, she's over there and she looks like she's not doing that laundry right, But going with the question is like it's learning to orchestrate and manage, different people, different times, and it's been a real blessing in teaching me how to I used to be a sponge of people's emotions, and I would go home just feeling drained, and I've learned that it's I can only do what I can do, and help how I can help, but also giving the power back to other people, for them to help, in some ways, be the master of their own emotions too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't have to fix that for them. I don't have to take it all in.
That's powerful.
If that makes sense.
Yes, that is very powerful because you are, in a nutshell, we all have to make our own decisions. We might come to a class where we have a coach, but at the end of the day and the beginning of the day, we have to make our own decisions. So putting the power back on them is powerful, and that's the same thing psychologists have to do. Listen, lady, I can talk your ear off and I can listen to you all day, but at the end of the day, you got to go home and make the correct decisions to change yourself. Coming to me is one of them. That is one big decision. Getting a trainer is one of them, but that is just one cog in a big wheel that's always spinning.
Right, and I think it's that way with any relationship that we have in life. This is what I'm learning. I'm a professional at being in the gym.
You're still a sponge,
but yeah, I'm still a sponge. But I think that's it. It's almost like it's what makes you great. It's one of those things that makes me great. And it's one of those things that can be my Achilles heel too. You know what I mean? I think because people who care, right? Because I give a shit. But sometimes there's learning how to still give a shit, but being able to empower people to still handle their business. And there's a difference between handling it for them and empowering them to handle it themselves, if that makes sense.
Yes.
That's the roundabout way of getting to where we were going.
And that's quality coaching right there. You read a Coach K book, and that's what he does. He gives you the tools, but it's up to you to run with it. He'll empower you. He'll set you up for success. But kind of going back to what we were just talking about, it is all about you to make the decisions. And those are the best coaches, the ones who instill this belief in you that you can do it. And I like what you said about how you're even more calm, cool, and collected in front of bigger groups and in front of bigger teams and squads, because that lets us maybe a person, the Achilles heel of the group, it allows them to see others striving to be great, and some might be at a different level than them, but at the same time, they're able to almost use that as a subliminal coach as well, where, no, this person motivates me a little bit more. It might not be the coach, and I get to run with this.
Right.
You see that I go to the Dan Abraham Healthy Living Center, the Mayo Clinic gym, and you see these groups, these small groups in these private classes, and I'll walk through them or whatever, and you'll see a couple people who are definitely, they've been on the ball, they've been doing it for a while, and then you see a couple, middle-aged women who aren't quite there, but they're grunting it out just like the vets, just because, and it's the coach isn't doing anything different. It's they're seeing that, okay, I might be the weak link, but I'm going to get there, and I'm going to strive just like the other people are striving, the ones that have been here for a while. It's powerful. It's like the psychology of a tribe, and how everyone gets in where they fit in. And being a coach, you really get to see it. And that's what I see with my 5th and 6th grade basketball teams is, like, just the other night, for example, there's this kid named Wesley, first year playing basketball.
Okay.
Not the best fundamentals are not there, but what he does have is heart, and he hustles, and he's slowly turning into our best defender. So that right there, I can use him as a tool in certain circumstances through games, like in the third quarter. If we come out slow, man, heavy defense can get our momentum going again. It can build that inertia. Get a couple big turnovers. He's not going to finish the layup. We'll get it off to DeVar or Richard, who's going to finish it off. But it doesn't matter. That spirit that he brings in, kind of like a weak link. There's something about a weak link who brings a certain aspect of their spirit that the room might not have.
He's got that Dennis Rodman-esque.
Absolutely.
He's got that Dennis Rodman-esque.
I'm going to start calling him Wesley Rodman.
Yeah, there you go. You should. I used to play hoops, and I love to play with dudes like that. They'd come in, and don't get me wrong, Dennis Rodman in his heyday he is an athlete. Make no mistake about it. But I love going in the games with dudes who just got heart, who are sitting, doing the things that nobody else wants to do. Those are the grinders. Those are the guys. And you want to be around. They bring the energy of a team or a room up just by entering, and they may not have all the talent. Look at you and me. I mean, we don't have all the talent, but what we do is we make people around us better, and we get things done.
Absolutely. I'm thinking of a name right now. One of my old teammates, Kyle Reaping. He was a big boy, but he wasn't the most skilled, wasn't the quickest, slow feet. But what he did bring was that Dennis Rodman grit. And we would celebrate even more if he hit a jump shot, and then he did. He grew a jump shot because he was putting in his time. And that's what I love seeing as a leader or a glue piece. I love seeing people who, on their own time, put in the time. Not the ones that need to be babysat, not the ones you need to tell them what to do and when to do it, but the ones who just put in the time. And as a coach, that's where it brings the biggest smile to your face, because you set them up to succeed, and now you're seeing the fruits of the labor come into play.
Absolutely. That's what my business is all about. I'm a guide. I tell people that all the time. I meet people with where they're at. I don't care where you're at physically. There's certain things I don't dive into. If you want to get on stage, that's not my thing. But I also know what I'm good at, and I also am confident in the fact that I have some other friends who are very good at that kind of stuff in regards to fitness. But going back to meeting people with where they're at, and then showing them, like you said, believing in them, even when they don't believe in themselves. So if you believe in somebody long enough, they're going to start to believe in themselves. And you start to show them that they can do things by meeting them where they're at, not meeting them where you expect them to be. No one's going to show up if you meet people on that level.
I can only imagine where your patience level has to be when you're, in some circumstances, helping people with baby steps, not even a sprint. Where your patience has to be on cloud 11.
Yeah, well, it's actually one of my favorite things to do, and it's a lot of what my brand is becoming about, is helping people who, it is baby steps. It is. It's like they can't step up on a step that's 12 inches off the ground. They can't put their arms in the air without pain, and teaching them how to take little action steps every single day and showing them that. Because when it goes both ways. Everybody says, well, motion creates emotion. It does. But also think about emotionally, when you're going through something, what kind of motion does that create, right? I think the two are reciprocal. And so what I mean by, where am I going with this is, when you can show somebody that they can put their hands in the air without pain, it may not seem like anything for you and me, but man, for someone who hasn't been able to do that for 30 years, or they don't have pain in their low back, it's like, it's an emotional thing. It becomes something where they go, Now, where it's reciprocal, that emotion leads to more motion, right? Because then they're going to want to keep going. They're going to want to keep doing it. And getting people to tie onto that positive emotion is everything. And getting to remind them of what it feels like to feel good. Because I think so many people now don't even know what that feels like. The feeling of good, physically and emotionally. And teaching people that again and showing people that again is one of the most rewarding things. Yeah.
You're
I love it.
helping people make the gains they need to make.
Right. And gains are, in my culture, my gym culture, it's like, oh, gains and flexing and
Did you hear how long that protein fart was?
Yeah.
I beat my personal record, 16 seconds.
because gains. And that part's great, to each their own. I literally try and pass only a little bit of judgment, truth be told, but that's just one side of what coaching is, especially in the fitness realm. I really love, it sounds like I love old people. I love old people who've never worked out before.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much fun, and showing them that they still can do things, and they're not just they don't just have to roll over and die.
Not to mention, I bet you get some badass stories out of them.
Oh, talk about things that you just don't hear about these days.
Mm-hmm.
I have one client, he's like 70-some years old. This dude is in love with Aston Martins. He's got pictures. He refurbishes Aston Martins, like old ones.
Yeah.
Like old ones. And it was so crazy when he started coming in. I told him, I had the privilege of meeting Chris King. You know who Chris King is?
No.
Kingsway. You can follow him on the gram.
Okay.
Real interesting dude. All about luxury brands.
Mm-hmm.
And he just had, I think there's going to be 3 Aston Martins that have his design presence.
Okay.
They're going to be released.
Yeah.
I think it's 3. Don't quote me on all this. But it is. I think it's 3.
Yeah.
And so I showed him, these Astons, and a couple of my friends have them. And dude, Tom just lit up. Just lit up. He's like, what? It's crazy. It's crazy. But seeing,
Yeah, you just introduced Tom to the internet.
yeah, Tom just got on the internet. No, he's on it. Just that dial up. Like, I can't get the picture to come in. No.
Funny.
But yeah, the stories that you hear from people, it's great. It's so awesome to hear and get a perspective. And could you imagine what we're going to be like, when we're 80 years old, and the things that we've seen and the experiences that we've had?
I am going to pride myself on probably being the coolest fucking uncle and grandpa known to man.
You have to fight me on that one.
Well, let's go. What are you talking about? You ain't got no kids, dog. You're living vicariously.
Not yet. Not yet.
You play too much golf to be a dad. No, but that's what I'm actually looking forward to. I'm definitely not going to hop on the first wave of brain implants. I'll wait till like the beta version is through and through and seen its days, and then I'll move into probably the 3rd phase of brain implants. And by that time, I'll be telepathically speaking with my daughter, telling her to brush her teeth. And then when I become a grandpa, I'll be living in a glass house, a bulletproof glass house with an invisible fence, so everyone can see me walk around naked, but they can't come up and violate me. They'll see me skinny dipping all the time. I'll be that grandpa who's just pretty much owning his insanity, because I know I'll be crazy, but I'll be owning it. I'll have glass everything, clear everything. Nothing will be made out of diamonds. Everything will be made out of cubic zirconia, because I'm going to be frugal with my dollar, with my blockchain currency, because that's where we're going. So you're putting me in the future here. I won't be playing golf. I'll be playing virtual golf in my basement. So you can come visit if you want. I have a question for you before we get too futuristic. Have you ever lost anybody to a staph infection?
I have not.
Have you ever seen anybody lose a limb to a staph infection?
I have not.
Damn it. I was hoping to get a story out of you. No, I had a buddy who goes to this gym up here, and he was deadlifting, and the bar scraped his shin, and he got an infection from the bar scraping his shin. He almost lost his goddamn leg.
No way.
Yeah, bro, his leg puffed up, double the size. It was gnarly.
I'm going to go wipe the bars down in my gym right now.
Straight up, dude.
Yeah.
He was sending me progress reports, and it was disgusting. All from scraping his shin on a bar.
That's crazy.
Yeah, bud. Dude, but I tell you what, man, I leave my sweat behind on the elliptical.
As long as you're wearing them neon shoes, boy.
Dude, I just leave it behind, and I allow people to soak it in and get the motivation. I hope they soak it in. I don't wipe anything down. I don't even wear slippers or sandals in the shower. I don't wear sandals in the steam room either. I just own it. And now my pinky toenail is getting black, but I think that's from freaking hours on the elliptical. I hope it's not a virus. We'll see. I'll give you a progress report. It's been like that for like a month.
We lose Nick to a black pinky
Dude,
toe.
I'm disgusting, bro. This morning, my daughter's had a cold, and she's been just snotting up a storm. And dude, I just I pinch her nose and I squeeze out any freaking snot, and then I just wipe off my fingers and get back on the ship, dude. It's disgusting being a dad, bro. Like when your daughter, like every single day they have a blowout, right? So it's gotten to the point where I'm so used to the blowouts where it's like I clean it all up and I make sure she's good, and then like I'll go do something and I'll forget to wash my hands, and it's like I'll get to it and then I wash my hands, obviously, because I am a germaphobe, but like it used to be to a fault, and then marijuana happened. So like it got to the point where I would no longer overthink it. I just forget about it.
Right. Right.
All the while, like right when I walk in a door, I always set my stuff down and got to go find the bathroom, because 9 times out of 10, I got to take a piss, and then I wash my hands, and then I come out, and then I shake hands. And then after we're done, you'll see me go to the bathroom. I'll wash my hands. But like I do disgusting things, bro.
We all do.
Like,
here's the thing: everybody's so bacteria freaked out,
Yeah.
right? Because of a few stories like that staph infection. That's one in how many billions,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
That's like that you hear about, but everybody hears about that one instance,
Yeah.
and everybody gets crazy.
Romaine lettuce.
Yeah, romaine lettuce, right? And now hand sanitizer sales went through the roof.
Yeah.
You know, I think that shit's put out that conspiracy theory of me. Like Johnson & Johnson need to hit up them, you know, at this time of year. So,
Leak the problem and provide the solution.
right,
You know?
right,
Or cause the problem and provide the solution. That's even darker.
very true,
It happens.
very true. But
It's still happening.
nobody's thinking about your germs when it's puff puff pass,
Ooh, don't tease me with a good time. Son of a salamander.
right?
Do you remember the days? I was just talking with a buddy the other night when Trainwreck was Trainwreck. I'll never forget this time where I was looking for a weed man or weed woman because mine got popped off. And my sister introduces me to this girl named Jackie who she bartends with. They lived in the same apartment complex. Jackie comes down. Do you remember that scene in Blow where Johnny Depp's looking for some grass and they bring him to Patrick's salon and he's like, "So you're looking for some grass?"
Yeah.
The same exact situation. Jackie comes down to my sister's apartment. I'm a senior in high school. She's like, "So I hear you're looking for some pot." I was like, Mind you, she was blonde bombshell, big old tiggle bitties. 4 years older than me. You know what I'm saying? Young 20s. And so she brings me up to her apartment. She pulls out this turkey bag with 5 pounds in it, this big ass turkey bag. And I didn't even need her to pull it out to be able to smell it. It was just disgusting. And she's like, "Well, this is Trainwreck." And she starts going down the list and she pulls out, she like tried pulling out just one nug, but her hand got filled with all sorts of nugs. So like her hand was just, and this is back when weed was like uber sticky. She throws a nug across her glass table to me. It didn't roll to me. It stuck on the table and quit rolling. I was like, huh? And then she's like, "Oh, you want to see more tricks?" She had a sliding glass door. We're in her dining room right next to the sliding glass door. She starts taking nugs and just throwing them at the glass one after another. Every single one of them was sticking. So of course I grabbed some from her, and that's how I was selling it to people, where I'd get in the car, I'd be like, "Yeah, watch this." I'd throw it at the glass and it would sell itself. So that's back when weed was sticky.
I remember that.
It was great. You know, it was great. And now it's like just really fluffy and crumbly, and it's way more user friendly, I guess we could say. Because it used to be you try to roll anything up and it's going to ruin 14 papers before you get one rolled up.
That's why I didn't use papers. Huh?
You know? Oh, you were an adult about it.
Yeah, I was an adult about it. I used pop cans and pop bottles, you know?
Okay, so I really wanted to talk to you about, we'll go back and forth from drug talk and professional talk. That's how we do it. But I really wanted to talk about some of these masterminds you're in.
Okay.
Because you're a member in one big one that like people strive to get into.
Right.
Can you explain that?
So, yeah, I can. So for those of you who maybe are like a mastermind, because that's what I was.
Yep.
I didn't even know 2 years ago. If you'd have been like, hey, you should join a mastermind, Nick or Joel, if you were just telling that to me, I'd be like, the fuck is a mastermind? No idea. So a good friend of mine, Chris Harder, he has For the Love of Money podcast. And it's one of the fastest growing podcasts. He led that into his mastermind, For the Love of Money mastermind. And the whole premise of this, his brand and his just who he is when good people make good money, they do great things. So he asked me, he was on his Whisper campaign. I was at an event called Thrive. He asked me, so I told him about my online brand. And he said, I'd really love it if you would be a part of my mastermind. And when Chris has been a mentor of mine for years, and I said, I'm in. I didn't even know what it was. So for those of you who don't know what it is, we have masterminds are all different sizes, but it's entrepreneurs who come together. For ours, it's about 34, come together, and we collaborate, we learn, we grow. It's a tribe of people. Chris has formulated an incredible tribe of entrepreneurs. Ours is entrepreneurs who are in the six figures, mid to upper six figures, who are trying to get into consecutive and consistent sevens. And so he is connected to a lot of really great entrepreneurs, and he brings in a lot of really great celebrity entrepreneurs, and to teach us from a very high level down on different ideas. We get different modes of operation, and it's not just that high level teaching, because within the mastermind you have accountability partners, you have people that you really vibe with, who hold you accountable, make you set dates, make you hold things to you. And that was such a huge piece of it. And so we do 3 in-person meetings out in LA, and they're about 3-day events, about 2.5, 3-day events. And it's an incredible time. So you get out there, you have kind of your opening meeting, you have speakers who come in during the day, and then we have like group activities at night. So we'll go out to dinner at these phenomenal places, like just to the nines. And this is Chris's mastermind. So I'm just talking about the one that I'm a part of. And then a lot of times he'll have guest speakers who will come to dinner, like the guy who founded the Rob Report. I mean, dude.
Is Chris based out of LA?
He is. They're from Wisconsin. He and his wife, Lori, are from Wisconsin. And then they lived here in Minneapolis. I met Lori working in a gym because she used to be a trainer, and that's still part of her brand. And I hadn't met Chris. I think I met him maybe one time, but then we're part of the same network marketing company as well. And that's when Chris and we are pretty much neighbors. We both lived in St. Louis Park, and we'd see each other. Became friends, fantasy football friends, and business friends, and we've just kind of grown together over the years, I should say. They moved to LA a few years ago, and they've just really, really exploded on the scene of entrepreneurship. I mean, you've heard his podcast. It's good.
He drops gems, and he's really good with money. And I think that's why people are really tapping into Tony Robbins and his finance game nowadays, because Tony Robbins isn't just a legendary speaker. That motherfucker knows money, and he knows how to use it as a tool.
Right.
And that's how the movers and shakers who are steady improving in LA, they're the ones who they're financing moves.
But here's the thing, and that's the thing, and the thing that I loved about Chris's tribe that he's putting together is there's that give back portion of it, like, because it's so crucial. I mean, not everybody does it, okay, but you know how much has been given to me? You know how much has been given to you, whether it's opportunities or yeses, or giving back doesn't have to just be monetary, right? It could be giving somebody a chance. It could be giving somebody your time. It could be there's so many things to give back. And the whole spirit of us all growing as entrepreneurs is still remembering that to do great things with our money. Experiences, giving other people experiences. That's one of my favorite things.
That's the power of the introduction, man. Like, right. I might not be able to give you anything financially right now, but oh boy, if I link you up with this person or that person, that's meant to make you more financially. and it can really happen. And that's why I love the restaurant industry right now, because you just quit your accounting job. Hey, let's go get you you've got a bartending background. Let's go link you up here. You're gonna make freaking $600 a night. Add that up. That'll get your ball rolling for a little while. You work 4 or 5 nights a week. You're going to be making decent money right out the gate.
Right.
You know, and you get to have fun. And then before you know it, bartending, you know that in the bar scene, dude, like more big decisions have been made over a cigar and a cocktail than a freaking cup of coffee in the morning.
Right.
I guarantee you that. And then you meet all these bigwigs because we linked you up with a downtown Minneapolis bar.
Right.
And then before you know it, you're back on your entrepreneurial grind just because you needed to get away from the freaking cubicle industry.
There's so many opportunities out there right now to do your own thing and to make your own way. And for as much time as I hear people bitching about their jobs, I think they've spent a quarter of that doing something or building something for themselves. There's never been a better time.
Yep.
You know that.
It's the Wild West right now.
Oh, it's just getting started.
I'm so looking forward to, because we didn't tap into the, like Google ads and stuff like that. Like, and even what Jeff Bezos did, it was just on blind faith, where he knew Amazon was going to be he was going to put box stores out of business. It's just, that was at the time where box stores were popping, but he knew he was the future of it. And to see where he's come, people fail to realize Jeff Bezos only owns 18% of Amazon, and he's still the richest man on the planet.
Right.
What does that say about working with a team? He owns 18%. 18%.
It's insane.
That is insane. And that's why I love masterminds, because, bro, it's like ultimate selflessness, where it's the power of, I go to these groups where, it's all about referrals. It's a referral-based group where it's like, it's got corny written all over it.
Right.
And it's got a lot of selfishness written all over it. Where
People join because they want to get something,
Yep.
not because they want something to give.
Yes.
I've been a part of those.
Yes. And that's why I love the art of the give back, where, no, let me lead you to the promised land, because I know by you becoming successful, I become successful. And that is not selfish. That is just knowing the power of our culture and the power of our tribe.
Right.
Where if you are the main people you surround yourself with. That's
Exactly.
who you are.
Exactly.
And the quicker we get on that wave, we're riding a typhoon.
There's so much power in it. And I think one of the biggest things that sets it apart is, at least for me, and I'm not a professional mastermind. Like I told you 2 years ago, I didn't even know what a mastermind was. Actually, probably a year and a half ago. Chris was, I was like, okay, I'm in. You just had to do it on blind faith. If this dude's doing it and his success track record, you want to surround yourself with people who he's surrounding himself with. That was my mindset. I didn't care how much it cost. I didn't care what I was going to invest. It was just, I needed to make it happen. It's been a game changer for me in different ways. Now, you talk about being around the right people, and you talk about people going in the right direction, because those people become, at least and it was set up this way so well, in a good way, your family. They become family.
Yep.
And just as if my mom needed something, I drop what I'm doing if somebody calls me for something out of my mastermind. I do whatever it takes to get them ahead. And that's just the president that you said. And it's the coolest feeling. It's the coolest feeling.
It really is. It's lately, for me, it's gotten kind of overwhelming, where people now are reaching out to me left and right. Already 3 times today, twice on the drive up here. Once since we've been sitting down, I just checked. Hey, I've got this thing, and I really need your influence. I really need you to share this. I really need you to push this for me. I really need it. And it's like gotten to the point where I love the art of the give back, but I have to use my timelines correctly.
Right.
And that's where it gets really tough.
And
man.
your resources,
Yes.
right? And your resources. So that's a that's a fine line. I've had this question a couple times, and I'm getting the same thing as we come up.
Yeah.
People start to reach out to me and ask, "Hey, can you do this or can you do that?" And by all means, if I can do it, sure, of course I'm up. But if it's a fit, right? if Billy Bud Crackhead calls me, he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna get on this podcast. Let me get on the podcast." You know what I mean? Like, maybe you'll get on your podcast. Good story. No, I'm just messing with you. But it's got to be the right fit, and being able to power and saying no. Like, hey, I'm just gonna be honest with you, Billy Bob Crackhead. I'm not comfortable with making that introduction, or I don't think that, being upfront with people about that, and I struggled with it. You know what I mean? Because now you do after what you did, I'm sure people, I bet you get that all the time.
Every day, all the freaking time, dude. Like, and I've always been a yes man. So I've always been a guy who would never turn down an opportunity, but I spread myself so thin. And now that I'm even more busy and I have a young daughter, like, I want to take all these opportunities, and some of them are big, but at the same time, man, you're doing something right when you're able to turn down big opportunities.
If you half-ass a big opportunity, it could, or not because you purposely half-assed it, but because you bit off more than you can chew. You have to know. I think because you hear all this stuff like, just go for it and just do it, and it's gonna be, fear is, around the corner of fear. It's just your fear. You can handle this, but like, people also have to be. Success loves speed, but it also runs in speeds. And you can't just go with sixth gear all the time. You can't. And you have to know when to dial back. And you have to know what, like, as cliche as it sounds, why you do what you do. You have a daughter now, right? That comes first, right? That's why I don't have kids. I'm selfish that way.
You have a lot of kids, and they are the ones you're helping you lose elbows and get stronger.
It's true. So I think the biggest thing that we're just kind of touching on is knowing it's not just saying yes, it's knowing who to say yes to. It's knowing when you can empower someone to help themselves. It's such a big thing. And you know that.
That's probably kind of been one of my biggest assets, but also one that I'm really not willing to, just because I'm still building my own self-confidence and my self-worth in regards to being able to fully help people and genuinely help people. So I'm really kind of been trying to focus in on, when I say yes, I need to be able to give you all my energy so you come out of this better.
Well, I think about when I met you, when we connected through a mutual friend. And I was a little apprehensive at first because I didn't know, like, what's this dude want from me? It was kind of, and I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't even believe what you were doing at first. I was like, no way. No fucking way. There's no way this dude is going to get it. I was like, what? I had to call somebody right after. I was like, I just met this dude. I think he's crazy. Which is like, and I'm not talking like crazy, like I'm not talking crazy like I'm talking legitimately crazy. He's trying to get Gary Vee to come. He's trying to get Gary Vee to come to Rochester, Minnesota. I was like, dude, I live in Minnesota, and I don't like to go to Rochester. He's going to try to get Gary Vee to come to Rochester. I was like, is Rochester that big of a deal? They have Applebee's yet?
We did it, though.
You did it. He did it. And then I was like, he did it. And I missed that. I was so pissed. But anyways, that's off topic. But I was like, and you didn't ask me for anything. You just asked me to come to your show.
Yeah.
Which you should.
You still bought tickets. You just couldn't make it.
Yeah, I just gave you money.
Yeah, literally.
I just donated. I just donated to the funds.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I didn't even show up.
Damn, you were texting me while I was on stage with Gary at the dinner.
I was like, I was gonna start fucking with you too. I was gonna be like, hey, tell Gary that Jay Shetty doesn't need to be his only Indian. You got an Indian on the rise. But dude, you did it, and you hustled it all the way, and you earned, not that my respect, but I think we had a mutual respect for each other, and that's why we're sitting across this table right now. Different hustles, but hustle's still hustle.
I did our first time, because we had coffee a couple times, and our first time you came in, dude, I could just tell you were tired. It was, we grabbed coffee, like midday coffee, and you had already had a big morning. You came in your training gear. I was like, this motherfucker does not need to be here right now, And we started talking about Dave Chappelle and Hume. And since I've been talking with Hume, and we're working on something together, and like, that's a big move. And like, when it comes down to only operating with movers and shakers, when you get to that point, it allows you to say no more often because, oh, you want me to share your song? I'm sorry, bro. How much is it worth to you? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? If you want me to tackle my platforms, I might not be getting all the views and likes right now, but you want me to spend that energy. I mean, people are paying me for my influence now, and I don't say that egoically. I say that just because it's the reality. Mm-hmm. Now people are paying me to do things for them. Mm-hmm. Half of my income on a monthly basis is commission-based because I lead people to the promised land. That's half of my income on a monthly basis, and it's not low. You know what I'm saying? People wonder. I like the mystique of people wondering how the stationary astronaut gets paid. A lot of avenues.
Yeah.
You know, I get flown out. I've been to more cities than I can count in the past year. Just because of frickin' when you say something that you're going to do it, you actually do it. And that's a beautiful place to be. When you say yes, because, like, dude, I was just down in Costa Rica, and my boy who's on the show next week, Tiny Williams, he's ex-Olympian, a New Zealander. Now he's garnered his influence in New Zealand to the point billionaires fly him, because he's an old sailor, billionaires fly him out to go yacht shopping with him. He flew straight from Costa Rica to Fort Lauderdale, Florida to go yacht shopping with a billionaire, getting paid just to consult.
On a yacht.
On a yacht.
Who would have thought that's a job?
And it's a job. And that's the cool thing about influence nowadays is as long as you just build your brand and you do it well and you become a person with a solid voice, bro, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
Anything.
Right.
You can be the next Kylie Jenner because of your looks, all the while you tie in brains too. Like Kylie Jenner, people sleep on her. It's like she made more money in 8 months off her makeup than Maybelline made over 20 years. Either
Right.
Maybelline or L'Oreal, one of the two. But it's like that is hustle and influence right there. Yeah, her mom might have set her up, but you can't tell me that girl isn't sticking to the grindstone and actually making the right decisions.
You still got to work. Just 'cause
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Someone can hand you a car. Someone can give you a car. You still have to drive it.
Over the last 2 weeks, I've helped one of the top real estate agents in all of Canada start his own podcast. I helped Mr. Olympia start his podcast, an Olympian start his podcast. Like just that alone, helping people out, not asking for anything, will propel you to a place of your wildest dreams.
Right.
You could just by unconditionally helping people out. And I'm not the type of person, dude, I hate it when people go ring bells for Salvation Army and then they're taking pictures of them doing it. It's like that's a gross form of letting it be known that you're helping people out. The trick is to do it unconditionally, and then you see them pop, and then being able to talk about them popping. So like tomorrow, we're being awarded for 10 Young Outstanding Minnesotans. It's not just me, it's a few of my team members too. The state of Minnesota is recognizing us for the good work we've done in our community and propelling our community forward. The city of Rochester that no one's ever heard about. Now we're putting it on the map.
They're going to get an Applebee's.
That's, bro, we got four Applebee's. Fuck off. No, but it's like when your teammates start getting recognition for things you did together, that's fucking awesome.
It's the best feeling in the world. Yeah. It's the best feeling in the world.
Or when people you have helped get their life back in order and drop so many pounds, and then they're taking that confident selfie, and it's in the mirror, and it's like, oh, I love you.
Yep.
I love you so much. Look at what we accomplished together.
Right. Or, God, you know, it's crazy. And it's different for you and me because you have a team of people. I have a small team of people. But I actually have my clients are my team. You just helped me realize that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I knew it, but they're my team. They're who I show up for, you know, every day. That's why I wake up in the morning, to help those people. And when they start, one of my clients, I talk about her all the time, Christine, 2 years ago, she walked in very unsure. We got along right away. This is about 75 pounds ago, 80 pounds ago.
Jesus.
And this last year, she ran 2 5Ks.
Whoa, Christine.
Yeah, 2 5Ks.
Yeah.
She couldn't even get up off the floor when we first started. Like, seriously, she couldn't get up off the floor. She's crushing it. That's my team. When I see her succeed, when I see her across that finish line, or she sends me a picture of the last, her out running, doing a turkey trot in the cold, that right there, that's that same feeling. That's that same feeling. And it's crazy because you can attribute it, now that I'm sitting here thinking, you can attribute that to pretty much any business, any venture. If you're a manager, if you're a leader, in any way, shape, or form, you just got to know who your team is, right? Now, some people get assigned teams, right? Oh, this is my team, right? Some people build teams. I don't have a ton of staff yet. I have a couple, but they're my team. I wouldn't be able to do it without them. But then my team are my clients. It's like, it's all a part of it. And when they succeed, we succeed. You get that.
Tenfold.
Your
business is no good unless they succeed.
Right?
Your business is irrelevant.
Right?
You're a contract killer. Straight up. Would you consider yourself a momentum builder?
Yes. I'm 100%. Momentum swings in both ways. And I'm 100% momentum builder. That's what I do. We get the ball. We build it in here. It starts with your mind. And then it starts with your movement. I think one thing that people have to understand out there, especially, this is just my own opinion, but I'm been formulating it over a decade of experience in this industry, is that it's so, momentum is so much of anything but getting in shape. It takes that first step. And as soon as you take that first step, being in the right place and having the right coach, and can make or break whether or not you continue, if that makes sense. We can go further into that.
How do you tackle insecurity? Because I know that's one of the big things for people who are out of shape, trying to get back in shape. They know they need to. They go get that gym membership, but they don't start going. And that's why you talk to any gym owner, they make so much of their money by people not even coming to the gym. They get that January gym membership because they thought they were going to live out a resolution, but then they quit going.
That January gym membership, in my mind, is bullshit.
Yeah.
Because here's the deal. People are broke in January. They just got done with the holidays, right? They're still recovering. My business booms, and I prefer it to in middle of February.
Yeah.
Partly because I like to take off and go play golf in January.
Yeah. Like a goddamn adult.
Yeah, like a human being adult. Or like a degenerate adult who just can't take this Minnesota cold all the time.
Add that too.
Yeah.
Well, you got brown skin, dude.
Yeah,
you got to go.
Listen,
you got to keep that feng shui rolling.
I'm so chalky right now. Someone get some lotion.
Okay, so February.
February, back on track. So that January gym movie, I know a lot of gym members or personal trainers and owners and gym owners love that, or they rely on, they sit and think January 1st, everybody's going to walk through that door.
Yep.
It's not the case. It just isn't. You get some people who reach out. That's great. And I just don't like to do business like that, right? Number one. And number two, I want the people who call me in February because they've been thinking about it. Yep. They're ready, if that makes sense. They're not just still hungover going, oh, I need to get in shape. They're not just, it's not a New Year's thing. It's not a New Year's thing for them. I want the lifestyle, if that makes sense. Where I'm going with that, I think people have to understand that if they're going to make that change physically, you're trying to make that outward appearance, and maybe this sounds cliche, but it's got to come from within. You got to be really, really ready. Really, really ready.
That's why I really appreciate the people who go get that gym membership in October or November before the New Year's kicks in, because it's like, okay, they're for real. They mean it. They mean it.
Yep. Yeah, they do. But then what are you going to do with that membership, right? What are you going to do with that membership? And here's the thing. There's this, I was trying to touch on this a little bit. People, you do not have to go out there. You get a gym membership and you haven't worked out for 5 years. Do not go in and do a HIIT fitness class because you saw Katherine Heigl lose 25 pounds after her last baby in Elle magazine doing HIIT workouts. That's not good for you. You need to, that is not good for you. People need to understand where they're at and be realistic with where they're at and know that a high intensity, high impact workout class is not good for them right out of the gate.
Dude, I'm still dealing with a knee injury from P90X when I was 22.
Right. Focus on movement and focus on what you put in your mouth. 100% when you first start. Start with walking, We can go. I mean, I can talk about this shit all day long. Stretching, mobility, and body weight exercises for your first 6 weeks. You shouldn't touch a weight at all. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't jump at all. Your tendons can't handle that. Your ligaments can't handle that. It takes 6 weeks. 6 weeks for your body to even just be prepared to add load, and sometimes longer. And, it's not real cool. That's not what I saw on the Instagram. That's not what I saw. But Tony Horton and, P90X and, they didn't say that. I'm like, no, you're right. They didn't because they're trying to sell you something, right? You got to find a program and just ease into it. Ease into it and make it a lifestyle. That's what I mean by make it a lifestyle. Know that this is going to took you how many years to get to where you're at. It's not going to change your life in 8 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Yeah, those are great programs for some people, but not for you. Take it slow. Yep.
That's what
stay consistent.
That's what I used to have to, when I was development director for Good Feet in my early 20s, that's what I used to have to tell to all these obese people. Listen, your arches didn't fall overnight. We're rebuilding them. Mm-hmm. So we put this arch support underneath your foot that takes care of all 4 of your arches. They're not just going to rebuild overnight. You have to train your feet back into having healthy arches. I always told them, imagine all the time, the miles you put in on your feet. We've got to rebuild that. Luckily, when you start strengthening again after 6 weeks, your ligaments are pretty malleable. Mm-hmm. They can, once you stretch and you do body weight exercises on a daily basis, your body gets into that natural groove where it's all about momentum and it's built back up. Mm-hmm. It's not all the way there, but you're making steady gains.
Right.
And people who are we have, an obese culture in the Western world.
We do? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, we do. And too many Applebee's,
Yeah, not in Rochester.
Yeah, not in Rochester. Those damn freaking half-off wings at 9 o'clock got me, motherfucker.
And mozzarella sticks.
And mozzarella sticks. No, but God, dairy just disgusts me now, just thinking about it. But anyways, getting that motivation and that momentum to go, 6 weeks, because let's be honest, it's way easier to sit on our couch and freaking eat anything but tofu.
But it's not. It's not easier to sit on your couch and feel like shit. That's bullshit.
But when your pathways in your brain have already been established, let's be honest, it's way easier to do that than to go the healthy route.
Why? I refuse to believe that because I think there's so many people sitting in pain, sick of the way they look, sick of the way they feel. Their back hurts, their feet hurt. That's not so you're sitting on your couch eating Cheetos in pain. That's not a good feeling.
Oh, it's not a good feeling. It's just the easy way out.
Well, is it though? Do you see what I'm saying?
No, I see what you're saying, but your gut flora plays such a huge role. So when we talk about first things first, your diet, bro, their gut flora has been so fucked up for so long, it's controlling their brain. And I think the quicker that our doctors also become full-blown nutritionists, that's where because right now it's just our gym trainers are the ones who are nutritionists as well.
Well, some of them, yeah.
I mean, if they're a good one.
Dietitians, and I think we could get into a whole nother. I mean, this could.
Well, I love it.
This could last hours, days.
Yes.
Yeah. There's an Indian billionaire out there, Navdeep Jain, I think his name.
Which one?
Which one? I heard him speak, and he was talking. His whole thing. He's putting a lot of money in the research of the gut and the flora in our gut and how it makes decisions for us. And is it really our brain that makes decisions, or are decisions made through our stomach? And I mean, it makes sense, right? It makes so much sense.
I just spent a week of ayahuasca going over this.
I'm hangry right now. You know what I mean? But you think about it, and it just makes perfectly awesome sense. And that it's so much chemistry is between the two. And I'll tell you, hopefully my brother doesn't get mad, but my youngest brother, I remember when he had some mental health issues, and he's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful kid. He's my baby brother. And he spent some time with some eating disorders in his younger years. And I remember he went into the hospital, and their whole goal was to get him eating calories. I 100% agree. But what they were feeding him was just that. They weren't mindful of putting good calories into his body because to tackle his emotions, right? Because when you have those things like that going on, There's probably elements of depression. And if putting just processed macaroni and cheese, processed chicken nuggets, and all like shit food into your body isn't going to help you feel any better, right? It'll put some weight on you, sure. And that, okay, then why not give him good food? Why not do both? I'll get the motherfucker, he's not feeling good. Get the man a filet mignon,
Yep.
you know? Grass-fed.
With 80% greens.
With 80% green.
80% of your plate's greens.
Right. Get the man a piece of chicken, a grilled piece of chicken. But that's what I mean.
With no bread, not fried.
No bread, not fried. It's people don't understand when you eat like shit. I'm guilty of it too. Whenever I like food. I love food. I'm a foodie. But I know when I'm doing wrong. But when I'm eating really good and I'm following my fast schedule, I'm getting my veggies in. Man, I feel so good.
Yep.
My energy's different. How is that so hard to comprehend?
Well, that gets into poverty, and that gets into the price of processed foods, how much cheaper it is as opposed to a organic ball of spinach. You know what I'm saying? It's much cheaper, man. And it might just be a few dollars, but it adds up when it's getting tallied at the register. And that's just one excuse, because there's many excuses. Let's be honest. People who end up extremely obese, that's a lifetime worth of excuses right there that have come into play. You know what I'm saying? You know, whenever you're talking with someone who they don't have a trainer, and it's like, you know, they need it and they know they need it, but what comes out of their mouth first before they even think? Their freaking ego starts making excuses right out the gate, like clockwork.
Right. I mean,
It's dangerous, man. Have you seen the studies?
I don't know enough about. I don't speak on things I don't know.
Yeah.
And I believe that in my own belief, I believe that anybody has the ability to change in a heartbeat.
Yes.
And no matter what their circumstances were, not settle for them. And I'll tell you where this comes from. So I'm adopted, right?
Yep.
From India. And I've been so blessed to live here where I do. But for someone I will always be eternally grateful for is my birth mom.
For making the decision?
You know what? In the 80s, babies were like hotcakes. You could just, probably 2-for-1 special.
Well, they still are in India.
Right? Well, that's a whole nother story. Don't give me shit. I'm gonna do another whole nother podcast. People are like, I gotta eat lunch, man. Shut up. He's going. But I try and put myself in my birth mom's shoes. She's probably raped. Whether she maybe was a prostitute and got knocked up. It would have been way easier to go to an abortion clinic and have a hanger and just rip me right out. She made the choice to carry me almost to full term, go to the adoption agency, see the term out, and knew that she couldn't give me the life that she probably wanted to give me, and knew I would have a better life not being with her. She had the power of choice, despite her circumstances, despite her upbringing, despite her probable profession, or despite that she could have been raped and having a child out of wedlock in India in the 80s. Are you kidding me? I mean, there's like acid throwing shit. People, like you could lose your family. You could lose. I mean, it's culturally, it's just the worst.
Horrible
right?
water, just fucking everything.
Whatever she had to go through, she made a choice, right? And I'm talking about people, we live in still the richest country in the world, the most connected country in the world. And that's where I'm coming from with this, right? Because my mom, in the 80s, no internet, no Google, no nothing, made the decision to have me. Why can't people, mental illness, I'm not taking anything from my mental illness, right? I get that it's a thing. I totally do. Friends. Where I'm going with this is why can't people still, I feel like they've lost their ability to make decisions in a positive way.
Yep.
And maybe that is a stigma of a lot of mental illness going on. But I just have a hard time empathizing sometimes when people, it's a matter of one turn. It's a matter of one decision. It's a matter of, maybe the food isn't as cheap, right? The good food isn't as cheap. The fresh produce isn't as cheap. Well, I'm also overweight right now. Maybe I should just eat a little bit less of the good shit.
Check this out.
What's up?
The Western world has an added level of mental disorder, one that the other parts of the planet don't have. And you want to know what that is? Privilege. My favorite entrepreneurs are the ones that are immigrants, the ones who were not born here.
Bedros.
And they came here and they hustled their fucking ass off.
It's called the immigrant edge, man. Bedros Keuilian. He's the one, he tagged that, the immigrant edge.
The immigrant edge. Dude, that might be the name of this show. Now, when we talk about, dude, you're dealing with it.
That's Bedros'. That's Bedros'. He talks about that, about having that immigrant edge. He talks about the same thing. But it's right. Like, people always ask me, what drives you, right? What pushes you? And I've always struggled to really identify that. Like, I don't know. I just wake up like this, right? But I don't. And I think just having this conversation right now, I knew it was inside me, where I find the strength, where I find my energy, where I find my, just like, why don't you give up? That sounds hard. Why don't you give up yet? Because my mom didn't give up. She didn't give up. I wouldn't be able to look her in the face if I gave up or if I didn't set out to do what I'm going to do and what I said I was going to do. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Holy shit, that just came out. But yeah.
That's realness.
Yeah.
The immigrant edge.
The immigrant edge.
Sharper than a razor. What up, shit?
The Indian edge.
The Indian edge.
We're on the rise.
Oh my Lanta. I really think nowadays you see it with Africans, Sudanese, Somali. We have a high population here in Minnesota. And they're still living on the poor scale, but they're having lots of kids.
Right.
And what that's going to do to our voting scale is it's going to finally put minorities in positions of power.
It just did.
And Muslims, yes, here in Minneapolis, in positions of power due to them being here, having bigger families, and then those families grow up and they're now allowed to vote. And they didn't lose their belief system. And I think we're seeing this shift right now with migrants where finally they're becoming listened to and they're becoming heard and they're becoming powerful. They're regaining control for humanity. And I really think it's happening because we need to get rid of this freaking weird-ass white privilege that is enabling one avenue of obesity. Excuse-making, poor decision-making, because we've always had it easy. I want it to go back to the old ways. Trump, Trump, Trump. You know? It's not like that anymore. I think Trump is the epitome of privilege. And the amount, I would like to see the body mass index, the average body mass index of Trump's voters. I would love to see that because I guarantee it's high.
Right?
I guarantee it's on the obese scale.
But you know what? I wouldn't even racify that. White privilege. Indian privilege here. I think it's just people privilege here. Like, total. People, you think about, I meet with a lot of people, right? I talk with a lot of people about health. And it doesn't dictate, right? Why is it that people don't want to do nobody ever says, man, I went for a walk, I feel like shit after I went for a walk. Yep. Do you ever go for a walk? Unless it's cold as shit, that's different. But, oh man, nobody ever says, I feel like, after being active, you want me to point that right there? Okay. After being active, taking my dog for a walk or doing some sort of activity, like, oh, that was the worst feeling in the whole wide world. People just gotta move it. You can get into the privilege part of it, But why is it that people just don't want to feel good?
I'm glad you said that. Have you ever taken a flight to New York?
Yeah.
There's a lot of Jewish privilege on those flights.
Yeah.
A lot of Jewish privilege, snapping their fingers at the stewardess, telling them to freaking get them more freaking Snickle Fritz.
Right.
No, lady, y'all promised me Snickle Fritz. Get it. And then you got the little Jewish boy playing his 14 Game Boys right next to dad.
Yeah.
Just wafering in those farts. Those freaking hummus farts.
I don't know, though. Does it have to be? Why is it people? I call it people privilege because I think you can look at any race, you can look at anybody's background, and you can find lazy motherfuckers in there.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you know what I'm saying, though?
Well, you see the black population has a high diabetes count. But the thing is then you go into what kind of what I said with poverty and cheap food, where cheap, unhealthy food, man, it kind of goes hand in hand, or lack of foot and foot because they get them chopped off, or they're eating foods that are provided to them that are cheap and they're not the organic co-op style food.
Why not, though? Because can't you take your stand? Can't you go anywhere with, like, if you're on assistance, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know, privilege, or I work my ass off.
Yeah.
Can't you take those things anywhere? And it's good anywhere?
I'm pretty sure. And I think it might just be the neighborhoods they live in. And then you go into, do they own a car? Typically not. Do they own a car with insurance? If you know what I'm saying, in these poor neighborhoods, probably not. And then they don't have that local co-op down the street. One area I'll give props to right now is Detroit. They have this entire radius in their town, block radius in their town that is all just locally sourced. They've got their own farming community right there in the heart of the city.
That's awesome.
And they're doing it, and I think that's the future. Hopefully Chicago will start doing it as well in these more
So let me ask you a question
urban areas.
Do you know anybody right now without a smartphone? Besides that weird old dude that, you see, he's like, I don't want the government to know where I am all the time.
Well, there's one dude at Gary V. His name is Rod.
Yeah.
And then he stood up. Gary brought him on stage. He didn't have a smartphone. The very next day, he went out and got a smartphone.
Right. So here's the deal. There are those people, right, that don't have smartphones.
Typically, they're 80 and they're about to die.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't even know how to turn on their not smartphone.
They're still fucking with antennas.
You have Google, right? You have apps. You have all these things that can even bring you the food, right? You can get on one of those little birds. They're all over the city. They have those bikes. I have a hard time. I still have a hard time when people make excuses about not eating healthy and saying that it's too expensive. And maybe I'm just uneducated. Maybe I'm just that dense or that privileged because I don't know what it's like. Maybe I don't. Someone educate me. Someone show me. Someone take me to their house, wherever it is, and show me how you can't walk 6 blocks. It's going to make you healthier to a store with healthier food. Trader Joe's is not expensive. I'm sorry.
It's neural pathways, man. It's kind of we're going back to it. Momentum.
Okay, walk. There's some momentum for you. You're gonna feel better, and when you get to the store, you'll make a better decision.
Jared from Subway did it.
Among other things.
Yeah, among other things. That motherfucker's getting pounded by freaking Tyrone now.
He's getting that foot long.
Yeah, he's getting that
dark
foot
meat.
long.
The dark meat foot long. Let me get the dark meat chicken.
Yep. Man, it's just the reality, and you have the uphill battle. Like, I could only imagine what your training existence is like, because yes, there are those moments where it's the aha moment that is awesome because you're seeing success happen, but at the same time, it's always uphill. It's never not uphill. There's never a downhill sprint for you in the training game, ever.
Well, I don't think that, who wants that?
Yeah.
Right? I don't think it's always a battle, though. Mm-hmm. Why can't people just do things with ease? Why can't it just be like brushing your teeth or wiping your ass? Why can't it be? Mm-hmm. Like, the movement. And it doesn't have to be a generic, I'm making my fat cry gym session where you just piss pound yourself into the ground. and come in and ride a bike.
Making my fat cries.
Yeah.
I'm going to start saying that.
Make-
I'm making my fat cry. Look at all this sweat.
Yeah, that's right. That was like a meme.
Tastes like salty success.
Now you sound like you are in prison. Why can't it be the same though?
Yep.
Right? Why can't it be looked at the same? And I think part of it's my industry because we overcomplicate it. We overcomplicate it. Everybody's it's overcomplicating it, right? And they make it almost intimidating for people, right? Yeah, great. You have a 6-pack of abs and you can fly around on a Bosu ball and a medicine ball and do push-ups and pull a band at the same time. What the fuck is he doing now? No, not over there. I'm just thinking I'm thinking about these things that I see come out. I would be sitting on a couch if I was 80 pounds overweight going, that looks like shit.
Yeah. That does not
scary.
look fun.
Yeah, that does not look fun. You need to speak into the mic.
Damn it, Joel. We're over an hour in and you still ain't speaking in the mic. They're losing you.
Right?
Okay, so check this out. Going back to the 6 weeks you talk about, I use this I call it the 6-week rule for supplementation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of the same thing with any workout. Technically, they have the 28-day rule, but I call it the six-week rule, where for 6 weeks, use the same supplements on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And you might not notice the biggest differences. Where you notice how they're making a difference is after that 6 weeks. Take a week off working out.
Mm-hmm.
Then how do you feel 5 days in?
Right.
You feel like shit.
Right.
You're going back in time.
Right.
It's the 6-week rule. Same thing with building up momentum. I think we've had a kind of a steady stream of momentum talk for this, that inertia building. And that's really what it is. You have someone who, they're not going to get a Tony Horton rock hard 8-pack overnight. Some people, bro, the majority of people will never have a 6-pack. That is okay. You can still be a healthy fat person.
You can still be a healthy person and not be shredded. It doesn't have to be all or nothing either. Make movement like wiping your ass. You have to do it every day, or you get itchy. But you think about that like that. Why? Somebody can explain it to me, but I think part of it is my own industry. We've overcomplicated it.
I get itchy if I eat processed sugar.
Right.
My butthole itches.
It's because you're not supposed to put that in your nose.
And I don't get, and I don't get, what's it called? What are the things where people, their butthole, what is it? What's it called? Where they get a freaking, not a hernia, but what's it called? A lot of weightlifters get them who squat a lot of weight.
It's a hernia, I think.
Not a hernia. I'm talking with your butthole. Where it gets itchy. I don't get those. My butthole doesn't.
Hemorrhoids.
Yeah, hemorrhoids. Floyd the Road. I don't get those. For some reason, my butthole just gets itchy if I freaking eat processed sugar, dude. It's weird. And I know, and it's always 2 days later. Oh, Nick, you ate that freaking donut 2 days ago. Now your butthole's going to get itchy.
That's funny.
We might have to cut that out.
Yeah.
I'll probably leave it. Okay, so anyways, let's talk about your favorite psychedelic experience. This can include ecstasy. I've started to include ecstasy because I've had some great times on Lake Minnetonka on ecstasy.
Really? In the morning or the afternoon?
Late night. Into the morning.
Interesting.
Yes.
What's my favorite?
I know you've had a great one.
Am I supposed to remember these?
Jesus. That's the whole point. They get ingrained in your memory.
Man.
There's got to be one fucking LSD, magic mushrooms on a Minnesota lake, laying in a hammock. The universe talks to you. You get this sign that all of a sudden you want to start this company called Apex and you want to help fat ladies not be fat anymore.
No, it's not just that, though.
Damn it, Joel.
I want to help skinny ladies move better. No, I want to...
Dude, talking to the mic and
I'm
tell me a
talking to
goddamn story.
There's so many.
Okay, so have you ever taken ecstasy with some really rich people?
Yes.
And what played out?
It was in Vegas. What do you think played out?
What unfolded?
All I remember is...
So you had a dubstep concert?
Yeah, we were at Hakkasan.
Hakkasan.
I think that's the name of the place.
Okay.
And I like to disappear. Not like... I just disappear. I just go off on my own.
Was David Blaine in the room too?
No, yeah. Chris Angel.
Chris Angel.
I'm the Indian Chris Angel.
Yeah, dreamy Chris.
I tend to just zone out and go into my own world.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Actually, I'll tell you my favorite. I was at a local music festival here
Okay.
a few years back. And I took some moon rocks or Molly, whatever, and I was like, I don't feel anything, like, because I'm very impatient. I want to take it and feel it. So I took 3 more. 3. I'm like Frank the Tank. And I remember all of a sudden it hit me and I went, let's go to the show. And I just took off marching, wearing my green shirt, let's get weird, because I was getting weird. It was full on festy time. But I just wandered off. And my friends are like, where did Joel go? Because my lips were smacking. And I must have just moseyed around that local music festival all night long, just in utter bliss. I met a bunch of people I don't know today. But just not a care in the world. You talk about me being real chill.
Yeah.
I have an anxious mind because it's always going. I'm thinking about 13 different things at any given time.
Yeah.
That is in the forefront of my mind. When I've had psychedelic experiences like that, it's beautiful because it's like free. My mind feels free.
Yeah.
And I know people like, drugs. You did drugs. You did drugs. Yeah, I did. And it's just something like it now. It takes you back. Mm-hmm. It takes you back because you just feel free, not a care in the world. I hope that was a good story for you.
It was, man.
Because it's hard to explain those.
There was no climax to it, but the point behind it was mind clearing. Mm-hmm. And that's something why people take drugs. They're trying to clear their mind. I don't want to worry anymore. All these blankets, whether it's food addiction, porn addiction, emotional abuse, whatever that may be, I want to escape. And so often people find their way into the psychedelic realm in a dark place. I see it all the time where they shouldn't be taking psychedelics. All the while, that's the perfect time to take psychedelics because they're going to go through hell, but they're going to realize a lot. And I watched my cousin one time. She was not eating healthy. She was very unhealthy, lots of processed food. She was becoming obese, and she had one psilocybin trip, magic mushrooms. She probably took a little bit too much, but it doesn't matter. It was around a campfire, summer night in Minnesota. Stars are out, and she had a horrible time. But that next day, oh boy, she started working out, and now she's down like freaking 70 pounds, fit as a fiddle, runs freaking half marathons. You know what I'm saying? All because of one psychedelic experience.
Yeah. I have friends who've done ayahuasca, and they come back and say it's game changing. Mm-hmm. They find their purpose. Yep. I don't think there's anything. I think that we're such an uptight culture around psychedelics, and they've been around for so long. That's
because they're dangerous, because they will tear down the status quo. That's why they're worried about them. Same thing with marijuana. Oh, people become more peaceful and they don't get DUIs. Wait a minute, that affects our bottom line. You know,
I suffer from migraines. Mm-hmm. Nothing like a little pot cookie to make my migraine go away.
Absolutely.
No. Oh no, I'm just going to sink in my couch and not get anything done, but I'm not going to get anything done with migraine anyway.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, ayahuasca is a performance-enhancing drug or performance-enhancing medicine for creatives.
Yep.
So I was just down there with this illustrator for Warner Brothers. Mm-hmm. He's a savant. And he's down there, finding out his own personal stuff, but at the same time, for creatives, it takes it to another level, man, especially when you have even engineers go down there and then they've got this project back home that they've been struggling with. They go down there and then they tap into this part of their mind, and then before they know it, they've got that answer. So it's powerful. So Joel, where can people reach you? What's your push, big boy?
What's my push?
Apex Training.
Apex Personal Training. You're in the Minneapolis area.
Yep.
We're in Golden Valley. You can go to trainwithapex.com. You can also follow me on the gram at Joel Eschelman or at Apex Personal Training, MN. I have one of those public Facebook pages now because I'm super cool. I think 99 people follow it. It's on the rise. But
making gains.
Making gains. You know, my plug is that anybody who listens to this is they get up afterwards and go for a walk. If you feel like shit, send me a DM and I'll call you a liar because you're going to feel better. I promise. I want people to start moving. That's my big thing, baby.
That's the plan.
Start building that momentum.
Dang, that's the plan, bro.
And sometimes momentum starts with a walk.
My program has me, besides my gym workouts, after dinner every single night, I have to go for a 10-minute walk. Mm-hmm. It's mandatory.
You digest your food better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's what I'm on. I'm on a gut flora reset program right now. Mm-hmm. And I know I've kind of been beating it to the ground, but it's really, man, I'm noticing a difference just with a green smoothie in the morning with all my pro and prebiotics and then my other supplements.
I'll tell you something right now. From the first time I met you, your complexion is different. Mm-hmm. Your skin is different. You don't look stressed.
Yep.
It starts from within.
He's going to give me a hand job after this. All right. We love
I've already
you guys.
got the lotion on.
Peace out.
Later.